Nah, I done deleted everything. I deleted everything. I said, fuck it. I deleted everything. So if this don't work, hey, at this point it's out of my hands and shit like that. But continuing on with this video, this part three. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I said, like when certain things going wrong, nah, that's the perfect time to show the universe and show God, hey, look, nah, look, I'm still here. I still got the focus and all that good stuff. So yeah, I was just finishing up talking about that Grand Air Trine. So the Grand Air Trine, again, like I said, this is gonna bring a certain air. No pun intended, but all puns intended. You know, at the same time, but it's gonna bring a certain air of intellectual, or the ability to intellectually explain what it is that we've been working on. So you want to make sure that you actually got something to show for it. And again, just to finish up what I was saying about that opposition with Neptune, it's just going to put your dreams at a position to be worked on and actually be analyzed and criticized. Yeah, damn near broken down, but broken down so that you can rebuild it in a way that actually works. Because that's the whole thing. That's what Virgo wants. That's what all these earth energy wants. Uranus and Taurus, it needs to be uniquely you in order for it to work. Pluto and Capricorn, you need to kill that shit. Whatever it is that's been in your own, keeping you in your own darkness, keeping you in a situation or circumstance in which you cannot think any differently. Because sometimes we be so rooted into because Capricorn is like initiating new ways of thinking and being practical. So it's the cardinal earth. We can be so rooted into a way of making sense out of the world that again, Pluto has been here just showing us different ways of why we need to kill a lot of that shit that we've been clinging on to. Why we need to kill that shit. We've been clinging on to the wrong way of making sense and practicality of what's going on in our lives. And it's created a situation in which we've developed certain habits, certain different things that we participate in that are just not anymore, they're not efficient anymore. They're not giving us what we need in order to get to that next step, get to that next place. And that next place involves you being light, free, and actually have something of value to offer to other people, you know, in a community sense, you know, because we in that age of Aquarius where we're starting to get into this new place of what it means to actually build a community. And that's what it's all about, or not what it's all about, but what it's leading towards at this time period, the times we in and where we're headed. Because when Pluto gets into Aquarius, again, this is going to be very different. You know, we already in a different world, so you need to kind of get acclimated to the point where, okay, I've already been dabbling in this whole new vibe. I can actually keep up and participate and not just feel, because you're going to feel very naked, very like a fish out of water if you're not making those changes, because it's going to be a situation where everyone's going to be able to see you wasn't putting in the work. You wasn't putting in the work, and it's going to show based upon how you react and respond to your network or your community when it's time to actually be in one. Because that's the thing, Pluto is representing the structure of the society we in a sense, you know, say that's not what all Pluto is about. But because we're in a system and the way the shadow government got to set it up, it's like in a situation where it's like we see that being a thing, we see that being what they're using, you know what I'm saying? So when we go through a new era of Pluto, we go through a new infrastructure change. We go through a new time where there's new technology and there's new regulations on how to go about society. There's new norms that we have to, that they want us to adjust to, that we have to, again, if we want to work the system. And being that the system is laid out for us already and shit like that, we have to kind of play the game in order to get our footing in order to change the world. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be very hard to change the world with resistance. You have to kind of change the world with flow. And flow means understanding what situation circumstances you're in and taking those necessary, again, finding your footing within it. So not demonizing these different things, but knowing how to use them in order to move in a way that that isn't as detrimental to your spirit, but at the same time is able to blend and kind of, you know, work with your resources basically. You know, it's you know, I don't want to get too far into that. That's more so for a different conversation. But for the most part, for this one, being that we're talking about the transit. So yeah, you know what I'm saying, our passions is gonna be, yeah. So when it comes to what we're gonna be talking about, we're gonna be wanting to talk about our passions, and we're gonna be wanting to talk about, again, talking about our passions to our network, and then seeing who we can initiate new relationships with in order to get those passions actually completed. And here's the thing, again, when it goes into retrograde, we're going to be taking these things back to the drawing board. So going back in Virgo and doing a lot of analyzing, doing a lot of considering that, considering this. But the thing about it is, this might still be a time where we're not quite yet in ready to mingle all the way, but we're doing small steps towards that. So there's still a sense of trying to get our own individuality, our own individual shit together, but at the same time, it's all for the sake of leading towards us, again, in Libra season, being comfortable and strong enough to actually talk to somebody. I wanted to say ask for help. Strong enough to ask for help, because again, in Libra season, you're gonna need some help. And we, again, teamwork make the dream work. So it's like we have to figure out how we can orchestrate this. But first, we have to clean it up. We have to make it make sense, make it look good. We have to make sure that we've created a system that may not be perfect. Again, Virgo gonna want to press you into thinking that you have to get things perfect. But that's the thing. It's not so much about getting things perfect or shying away from the world until you get things perfect or enough resources. But it's about you understanding your place in the whole, again, in your place within your plans, understanding your position within your plans. Once you understand your position within your plans, figuring out how you're going to get there, right? Mapping that out for yourself, creating a routine and pattern for yourself so that you're already on point, and then focusing in on the execution. But along the way, conversations are going to be had. You're going to see there's already been other people in our spaces that we can look at and say, you know what, man, I've been dying to work with this person. I haven't been able to in the past, but you know what, I'm cleaning my act up. I'm cleaning this up. And that's another thing too. You got to understand, you got to clean yourself up in certain ways for you to get into certain doors. So this ain't always about, again, this ain't always about shaking hands in the corporate world, but it applies. It's a good analogy. In the corporate world, look, it's fuck what you think about it, right? You know what I'm saying? You have to clean yourself up in order to get into certain doors. Now, yeah, be yourself. You know, I'm not saying don't be yourself, and that's not what the point of this analogy is, but the point of the analogy is saying that depending on how you present yourself, it determines the type of crowds you attract, the type of situations and circumstances you bring into your life based upon how you got yourself situated. Now, this is a mental thing. How you clean your mind. It's really about cleaning your mentality, cleaning your mind up. And again, soaking a lot of those emotions up so that they don't become, again, this is dry time, dry and cold, but not as cold as it's going to get when we get, again, sun goes into Mercury, and then we're talking about, again, a focus on a grand air trine, and then we're dealing with whole different combination, whole different combination of energies. You know what I'm saying? Because we still got and that's the thing too. We still got Venus and Leo too. So, but not even talking about that. But again, and I guess Venus and Leo is good to talk about now because that's what's going on now. So with Venus and Leo, again, appreciation and value going towards the presentation. And I guess that kind of goes along with what I was saying just now as well. Presentation. You get supported based upon how you set the stage. Venus and Leo. If you didn't set the stage in the right way, or you set the stage in a way, or if you're wondering why you're receiving the type of support you are, and by the support, I mean you could be receiving bad support. People not really messing with you, people not really understanding your vision, blah, 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 blah. You know that based upon, again, Venus and Leo. How did you set the stage, though, to be supported? Did you open the door for people to support you? And when they opened the door, what did they see? When you pulled the curtain back, what did they see? Did they see you at your best, or did they see you bullshitting? Did they see you talking about a bunch of things that you weren't actually representing? And with Jupiter and Aries, you have to be the representation of the shit you talking. If you are not walking that walk, people are gonna see that and wanna confront that or get away from you as far as possible, and they're not gonna know why. And we all, again, we can't be on point all the time. But the point is, understanding what's going on so that you can adjust. Because like I was saying about in the other one, I don't know if it was this video or last one, about people in seasons and different things. So people come back around too, you know what I'm saying, based upon you. Oh, you got your act together. Oh, we vibe better now, you know what I'm saying. Like, again, you don't want nobody coming to, oh, you got your act together. Like, yeah. You don't want nobody talking to you like that. I don't want, you know what I'm saying. But my point being, that's how people, again, they might not say that verbally, but that's what people be internally thinking. Oh, you got your shit together. Yeah. We could actually do business now, and vice versa. You know, you might be in a position to be like, man, that person ain't on shit. I'm gonna do something else. But again, you meet up with them a couple days, a couple weeks, months down the line. They're like, oh yeah, you clean. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I do got something for you. You know what I'm saying? I do got something for you. We could work on or whatnot. And people be going through that, oh shit, that's another thing too. We gotta keep in mind too with communities. It's like we all different people all trying to get our shit together. And that's the thing, that's the time we in. But it's ironic because I feel like since 2017 niggas been saying that, trying to get our shit together. But here again, it's a long time coming. But the time is finally here. We in this new world, and you're given the tools on a platter. Hey, start to organize this shit. Start to make sense out of your life. You know, you should have already been, again, Cancer brought about a lot of things that was going on internally, making sense out of how we felt and our emotions and our insecurities, and understanding those things on a broad scale, just putting it all out there. Then Leo made you clean it up a little bit, made you fight that reflection, fight that mirror, fight, you know what I'm saying, like to the point where you actually got into the psyche, and you was really going head to head with how you see yourself and how you want to be seen, and working on that. But now it's the Virgo. Now it's time to make that work. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to make that work. We painted the picture, but now it's time to put it in the frame and figure out what kind of frame we want, and actually make the proper measurements so that we can make sure it's on the wall the right way, the right wall, the right length, next to the window, the right measurements to make sure it's straight. All that good shit. That's what Virgo's bringing, and that's going to be these different trines that's hitting us. So you know, these trines are really going to be, again, these are like, it's open window gates and stuff like that. So you know, for the most part, that's what we need to keep in mind. Yeah, so that's it for the most part. Yeah, so I had to get this out in 3 parts. That's all I had to say. Damn, you know what I'm saying? This shit wasn't even gonna be that long, but I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed. Let me just pull it up. I would get the planner, Astronumerology Daestar planner, now available on Amazon. Link in the description, right? If you want to keep up with the transits and things of that nature, you might as well copy your planner, because the planner is going to lay it out all there for you. Astrological events, so you know what's coming ahead of time. And guess what? Virgo season, Grand Earth Trine. Why would you not? Why would you not try to get organized right now? It's the perfect time. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect time. But anyway, let me look at this real quick. So yeah, we got that on the cusp. We talked about Venus, the moon and Leo. Yeah, man. Mars and Gemini. Yeah. Saturn, we talked about, yeah, Jupiter. Oh yeah, Chiron is in Aries. That's what it is too. Mistakes and stuff like that. Mistakes, you know what I'm saying? So learn how to get the gift of appreciating your mistakes as well. Appreciate where you at right now. You gotta appreciate where you at, because if you're not, see, when we run away from our mistakes and we don't appreciate, well, again, isn't sometimes, again, depending on transits, and not the time to appreciate them. But the good thing about appreciating your mistakes is that you actually start to take accountability for them. And that's the thing too, that this Earth Trine is bringing: accountability. You gotta look at yourself and look at the real. You gotta look at the real. What did you do to end up in this predicament? Because if your life is fucked up, and everybody going through some shit, so you're going through some shit, you got to look at yourself as just ask you got be real, be for real about your shit. Be for real about what led you to this position, and that way you start to figure out ways to adjust it for the better. And that's really what that Pluto Uranus more so talking about. A little bit, you know what I'm saying? The sun is just giving you the willpower to act on it. You might not have been willing to act on it. There was opportunities to act on it again in Cancer season, but you, again, from an internal aspect, it was a whole different temperature. Now it's a different temperature now. you know, and we get into the harvest. So again, this is going to be a full moon in Pisces. If you're not putting in, and that's the thing too, I always look at the full moon when I'm looking at the new moon. Do the work now so that you can play in Pisces, because that, or you're not gonna be in La La Land in Pisces. You're not gonna look at what you're working on and say, this is a bunch of bullshit. That's what's gonna happen if you're not, you know what I'm saying? But we'll talk about that when I talk about the new moon video and things of that nature. But yeah, and Uranus is in retrograde now. So again, reanalyzing our individuality. Also reviewing our changes. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of retrograde energies. We're going through a retrograde time. So this is a time of that we're going to be in that space of kind of going back and forth with ourselves. So again, just keep in mind that right now you may feel like it's bricks on your feet and you can't move forward as fast, or that you're running in the sand. But think about running in sand or running with bricks in your feet. When retrogrades come off, when you take them things off, when you get on dry on flat land, you out. You out. And you want to make sure that you're doing, so that's why it's important to just make sure you're doing the work now. And especially when it comes to Uranus and Taurus, because Uranus and Taurus has been there for the longest. Same thing as Pluto, but for the most part with Uranus and Taurus, and Pluto is really 20. Oh no, it's 26 degrees. I'm about to say, I thought it was 29 degrees. But really with Uranus and Taurus, right? Again, the core of it being our individuality. So throughout it all, this is the opportunity also, or the gift, to develop a routine and pattern that's unique to you, so that you can set up a situation for your life to make sense for you. It ain't got to make sense for everybody else. You ain't got to do what everybody else doing, but you might have to participate in certain things, like just getting a job, so that you can lay the groundwork for it to make sense, that you are in the position to do what you want to do a couple months down the line. You know what I'm saying? And you got to put in the time. You got to be willing to make that investment. That's the thing too with Grand Earth Trines. It's all about investment. So you want to invest your energy the best you can at this point in time. We can get into asteroids right now. You know, we got Palette. Well, let's talk about Lilith and Cancer right now. So Lilith being in Cancer again, we might be, when it comes to our feelings, you know what I'm saying, these is where our embarrassing moments are. So wherever you got Cancer in, that might be the house you a little sensitive in at the moment. But Lilith in Cancer is bringing about a certain energy where it's like, okay, when it comes to, it's like that's kind of where everybody kind of has a soft spot right now. Everybody kind of like, even though we're moving into a dry time, everybody kind of is embarrassed about not embarrassed about their feelings, but you're not gonna be so, the things that make you feel comfortable, you might look at yourself and ask yourself why you feel comfortable about these things, especially if they're things that aren't looking like they're making sense, especially now, you know what I'm saying? So again, you have the opportunity to kind of really look inside yourself and say, okay, like these different things that's making me uncomfortable, these things that I might even feel as though are embarrassing, how can you adjust them in order to get right? Because again, a lot of our sensitivities, right, are stemming from just things that we haven't actually taken power and control over. Like a lot of our sensibilities are like sensitivities, not sensibilities, but sensitivities are coming from things we didn't take power and control over sooner. Saying that's the opposition with Pluto. Again, Pluto looking at you like you should have been changed. But again, Pluto's actually being nice. You need to get it right. You know what I'm saying? With this Grand Earth trine, Pluto gonna work with you. But again, this shit not gonna be easy either. This transit not gonna be easy, because there's gonna be a lot of times you're gonna ask yourself what you're doing this for, and this is where you have to remind yourself. And how you remind yourself is your own business. You're accountable for how you remind yourself and motivate yourself, and you're accountable for your own happiness in this world. You accountable for how you feel and think. You're accountable for that. So again, the second we give that power to somebody else, you just being a big ass kid, and really nobody cares. You know, that's when nobody cares, when you done put too much power in somebody else's hand and made them responsible for how you feel about something. Man, fuck that shit, bro. You got to get it together. Juno, you know what I'm saying, longevity and dreams. You know what I'm saying, Juno is in Pisces right now. So longevity and dreams, that's again the opposition with Virgo. You're gonna feel like you're fighting your longevity, but again, you gotta, again, change your thinking to, instead of looking opposite to my dreams or criticizing them to remind me how they won't work, instead criticize them to make them work, or to see where you can, again, sensibility, bring it down to make it make sense in this world, even if you got to break it into smaller pieces. Yeah, you can't go ahead and own that country, but okay, I can start with owning a small property, or owning an apartment, getting my own apartment, getting my own house, getting my own land, or seeing what the procedures are to get that. And maybe one day I'll get to that country, but I gotta break it down to bring it back to earth, to bring it back to what's grounded. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? And that's the main things. That's the main things. That's all I'm gonna get into at this point in time. And we got the North Node in Taurus. You know what I'm saying? So again, more again, spiritual path. All this, and that's the thing. The refinement of your spiritual path. Refine that shit. Make sure that you actually are whatever it is that you going on as far as your spiritual path. It ain't got to be lost in the woods. It can actually be something that works for you. And again, not getting too lost in material gain or making everything about the job that you work. But again, sometimes we have to take, and this is also a good sacrifice time, understanding what to sacrifice for the sake of setting yourself up for later on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, that's all I'm going to do. Much love, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.